So when we begin, we want the capo on the 2nd fret. Anyone that doesn't know, this is a capo. And then we want to count from the head of the guitar up, and this is the 1st fret, 2nd fret. So we want to put a capo across, we want to make sure it's crossing all of the strings. So when working with a capo, the fret next to the capo becomes the 1st fret. So we've got the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, so on and so forth. So the chords we're going to be playing are C, G, E minor, and D. When we're playing C, we want our 1st finger on the 1st fret on the 2nd string, our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string. And we want to strum from the 5th string down. So that's C. If it's too difficult, we can play with our 1st finger on the 1st string and just our 1st finger alone. But this time we want to strum from the 3rd string down. Okay, so there are 2 options. We have the full C, or we have our partial C. So then for G, we want our 1st finger on the 2nd fret on the 5th string, a 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then our 4th finger on the 3rd fret on the 1st string. And then we strum all of the strings. If this is too difficult, we can do a partial chord again, and we want our finger on the 3rd fret on the 1st string. And again, we strum from the 3rd string down. So we have our full G and our partial G. Then for E minor, we want our, because we're going from G to E minor, I would recommend using our 1st and 2nd finger. You will quite often also see it written with your 2nd and 3rd finger, but because of the transition we're making, I'd recommend using your 1st and your 2nd. So for this, we want our 1st finger on the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and we're strumming all of the strings. Again, if that is too difficult, we can just use 1 finger on the 4th string on the 2nd fret and strum from the 4th string down this time. So that's our full E minor and our partial E minor. So for D, we want our 1st finger on the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret on the 1st string, and our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And this time we're strumming from the 4th string down. Again, if this is too difficult, we can take our 1st and 2nd fingers off, playing just the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and strumming from the 3rd string down. Just a side note to say that these notes that we're playing on the 3rd and 1st string aren't quite the notes that are in a D major, but they work for beginner purposes. So we have our full chord, and we have our partial chord. Now we've got our chords, let's practice changing between them. So we have C, then we have G, E minor, and D. If we try that chord sequence again, starting with our C. So C, G, E minor, and D. We'll try that one more time. This time I'll demonstrate the partial chords, but carry on playing the full chords if you're finding that easy enough. C, G, E minor, D. So the strumming pattern is down strums, and it goes C, G, E minor, D. So if we try that again, we've got C, G, E minor, D. One more time, this time we'll repeat it. So once we get to the D, we'll go back to the C. So we've got C,